Hello and welcome to the second episode of this season of videos / podcasts. It's Smaugonite here, and today I'm going to be talking about Titans. Hello and welcome. Yes, this is an episode that I am ecstatic to talk about. This is something that people that know me, people that have followed the channel for a while, know full well is a passion project of mine. So I'm very excited to be talking about this again. Now, there's been Titans in Games Workshop hobbies for quite a while, obviously since before I started the hobby, since before I started 40k. There's been sort of the old form Reaver and Warhound Titans, which I don't own any of those. They're not the ones that I'm sort of referring to. I am referring to, of course, the forge-oiled ones, which you'll see on the channel and on our Instagram. Now, they are something that I've always looked at and gone, coming from Middle-earth strategy battle game, which is how I started the hobby. I looked at the Titans and went, wow, they're big. Even things like the Warhound the Warhound was just, wow, okay, that's big. But the biggest one at the time of recording is the Warlord Titan. Whether or not they'll do anything bigger ever, I don't know. It would be interesting if they did. There's part of me that thinks that they should just leave it at Warhound, but then, there are bigger Titans, so maybe one day, we don't know. But no, the first Titan I actually bought was the Warlord Titan. I bought it in, I think it's nearly 10 years actually, that I've had the first one. Its number is 401, so it's a fairly young Titan. I know that we're over 1,500 numbers now. I don't know if we've broken the 2,000 mark of them, but I know that we are sort of, creeping up. So in the first third of existing Warlord Titans, my first one was bought. So I bought it. A lot of people may have heard the previous podcast episodes a couple of years ago where I talked about it. What I did was I bought like an arm at a time, and then the carapace weapons, and then the head, and then sort of saved up for the body. Now, that was the way that it was sort of manageable back in the day, but now I think the constant price rises that are higher than inflation just makes it more of a difficult task, with the cost of living crisis and things like that, to be able to save up and buy one when, it's always been the case that those sort of models you can get a full army for, and then some, and yeah, but having the Titans is one of the things that I was always sort of interested by, because when the first trip I ever took to Warhammer World with the Jarl and Minion and the Jarl's wife, that was the first time I think I actually laid eyes on the model and just was staggered at how big it was. And I think it was around that time that I sort of went, do you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna save up for, and I'm gonna have one of those one day. Now, obviously, you'll see on the channel that it's not just the one I've got a couple. I do love them, I think I'm in love with sort of those type of models, because not only are they really good in game, they are really cool to sort of build up and paint and take your time with something and have something nice to show for it. I will say, perhaps they're not finished. I've always got something I could go back to and touch up, but at the same time, they just, with the transfers, with the tilting shields, and with the heads all being different for all of them, or for the Warlord, sorry, and then for the other smaller ones, it just, to me, I love them, and they have been sort of milestone purchases throughout my life. Each one I can sort of relate to a time in my life, which is again, I talked about this in one of the previous episodes. That's what this hobby is all about. It's all about the narratives and the remembering the good times, or these are the good days and remembering times from before, kind of thing. So My favourite one, as a lot of you will know, is the Warlord Titan that's armed with, the turbo laser destructors and 2 volcano cannons. That one is just iconic, and with 7th edition rules or Horus Heresy rules, it was like that was the one that was the D weapons one. It was the one that had all the D weapons, and anything D weapons is for me as a gamer. The Wraith Knights make that so abundantly clear. Now, I do have sort of one of each. It is really nice that I've sort of tried my hand at all of them. I would say I have a special place in my heart for one that I didn't like on release, and that's the Warbringer Titan. When that one came out, I remember explicitly saying to Minion that, I don't know if that one's for me, I think it did come out at the beginning with only the Quake Cannon carapace weapon, and since then they have added in the Volcano Cannon variant. Anything that can take a Volcano Cannon on its carapace is pretty cool. A world burner gun just on the top of it. Mine's got the option to have both, but on the shelf it's stood there with a Volcano Cannon. In fact, I think it's got the 3 Volcano Cannon loadout, which gives it a certain special place in my heart, that it's got 3 Volcano Cannons, because it's the only Titan that can take 3 Volcano Cannons. I do have a soft spot for it. Originally, I painted up my Warlord in a homebrew scheme for Legio Ulrican, who helped the Night Lords. I painted up Morilet ad Mortem in like a black with red stripes, just to sort of develop a little bit off of Legio Mortis for the traitor Titans, but it became abundantly clear after reading The Master of Mankind that I was a staunch loyalist, and having been fortunate enough that Steady Painting bought me a fortress. Somebody 3D printed a fortress for me. It felt rude to not have a Warhound painted up so that it could be guarding this fortress, and then it sort of turned into, actually, Legio Ignatum have the 2 Warhounds that protect the Eternity Gate. I'm thinking of calling the fortress the Eternity Gate, so that's what it became, and I made the change. I had 1 Warhound. I tried 1 Warhound first in the scheme of Legio Ignatum, and it became very quickly evident that actually I wanted to have my Warlord painted in that too, and the Reavers and the Warhound, the other Warhound, so the 2 Warhounds and 2 Reavers followed suit. Then it became COVID, and I think it was throughout COVID saving up, buying the odd voucher here and there, because that was the only thing that Games Workshop allowed you to purchase were vouchers. I actually saved up, buying a £20 voucher here, a £50 voucher there, each month or whatever, to be able to save up for the second Warlord, which became a Psi Titan. I followed it through the Ordo Sinister class. That one became called Tenebrae et Spiritus, which is the Breath of Darkness, it translates to, which, that's just metal as anything, isn't it? It's a secret weapon from the Emperor anyway, and then it's got a name like that. So you can see all the pictures of the Titans on the website. There's something that if I ever attend a Titan March, I would want to bring all of them. I have taken them all to Warhammer World and played a game for my birthday one year. We went down and I used all of the Titans, and Minion used the 2 Chaos Titans at the time that I had, and yeah, we had a big game. It was amazing because he also used Knights as well, and we sort of had it so that when there was an engine kill, it came back on for the Chaos side, because the Ignatum side didn't fall. It was only 1 Titan that fell, and that was because Minion put all of his firepower into what I said was my favourite at the time, which was the Psi Titan. Little did he know that was just smoke and mirrors. Morilet ad Mortem, the original Warlord, is my favourite. They're magnificent, and the books prove that. Things like the Siege of Terror, where they're talking about, I think it's called Mortis, the book actually, where it is all about the Titans fighting outside of the Imperial Palace. It's just absolutely incredible. You just can't go wrong with god machines fighting it out. And I'm fortunate enough that a guy, and if you're listening, you'll know who you are, sold me on eBay an original Forge World Lucius Pattern Warhound, which was in absolutely amazing condition, incredibly cheap. He was, I messaged him, I said, look, I know they're worth a lot more, but it would be going to a really good home, and I would, this is what I could offer you, and he accepted it, and I'm so fortunate that I've got this Lucius Pattern Warhound, and I've painted it up like I've painted my other ones, but with more hazard stripes, this one, because they deserve it. They look like it, look like the classic artworks that you see, so the Lucius Warhound's definitely my favourite. Just anything Lucius Pattern actually seems to be my favourite. I love the Lucius Pattern Warlord head. I'm still waiting for the Nemesis Pattern heads, actually. That's something that we have seen at an event. I can't remember which one. It was a while ago, but we saw the armour panel editions as well, which have made it into Titanicus, but they've not made it into 28mm scale. So that's pretty much, just an overview of the Legio Ignatum Titans and the Loyalist Titans that I've got. Remembering the names off the top of my head, I've got Sirius Fidelis as a Warhound, Lupus Ignis, which was the first Warhound that I got, and he was called Lupus Ignis because he was the Firehound and he had 2 Inferno guns. The Lucius Pattern Warhound was called Hyperion. That was because that's what it was called by the gentleman that I bought it off. But it also is Greek myth. Hyperion was the first the man who came before or something, I think, and it fit quite nicely. That did. Then we have the Custos Aeternum, the Reaver, which I built up originally for Minion, and then he didn't want that one anymore because I'd fallen in love with it. Centurio Aquilonis, who was the Eternal Guardian. No, that's Custos Aeternum. Centurio Aquilonis, I can't remember what that translates to. I'll have to have a look. Ignotus Gesta Olim Rex was the Warbringer, and that one I had to call him that because with the Nemesis Pattern head, he looks like an eagle, like he's doing his there's a film with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart where he's doing I think Will Ferrell's going to prison or something, and he does like your mad dog face, like that's what it reminded me of. Okay, we've got Astra Adafa, which was the third Warlord. That one was the one that Steady Painting bought for me as a gift, and then we've got the original Morilet Ad Mortem, the first one, which is the Emperor of Death. So that's pretty much the overview of the Titans. Obviously, if you're listening to this on the YouTube channel, you'll be seeing the photographs of this. If you're listening to it on the podcast, this is being released on YouTube as well. So feel free to drop me a comment, drop me, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. But yeah, feel free to drop me a comment and we can get talking, especially if it's talking about Titans. I want to know what you've got in your collection. So, drop me a comment, drop me a message on our Instagram through Strategic Painting or through my Instagram at Smaugonite. But yeah, no, that's pretty much everything. So thanks very much for listening and catch you later.